The Circus of Strange is in town looking for the Cape Crusader, but it's somebody else that's under the cowl. Here's your look at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batman Reborn, Dick Grayson Batman. Evil wins as Darkseid's forces conquer Earth, succeeding killing Batman until Superman leads a revolt to stop the tyrant. By the end of the series, it is revealed that Bruce Wayne is merely displaced in time. He eventually finds his way home, while Dick Grayson as Batman protects Gotham City. Always an optimist and one to make light of nearly any situation, when Dick stepped into the role of Batman, he made it quite the contrast to Damian Wayne, a brooding and troubled young Robin. Well, Bruce may wonder right now what time he's going to have to be the Batman. Dick Grayson thinks it's the perfect time. Before, though, we get a closer look at the Batman Reborn Dick Grayson Batman. Let's take, though, the tape measure and see how tall the figure stands. Another score over on Amazon. This guy was marked down dirt cheap. Well, I don't want to say dirt cheap. He was at least around $20, which not is a bad price at all. Dick Grayson Batman is going to stand about 7 inches in height, or the figure is going to be about 18 centimeters tall. Wow, not only is Dick Grayson copying Bruce's moves, but apparently his body as well. I mean, if you're going to be body stealing from anybody, it would probably make the most sense to take it from one of the best Batmen we've gotten from McFarlane and his team, that being the Nightfall Batman. Different color, of course, they've used for the gray, completely different emblem. And though while this isn't the first time we've gotten a fabric cape, Dick Grayson at least can say he has something that the Nightfall Batman never had. No mustache batarangs come include with this Batman, but he does come with some other things instead. First, the figure does come include with a black display stand. Nothing really new to report here. It still has, of course, the DC logo down below. Yeah, and a peg. A peg can, well, you only have one peg, and you have 2 of Batman's boots. So you're going to have to choose very carefully. Don't stress it out, though. Don't spend the entire afternoon trying to wonder which Batman boot is going to plug into that peg. That's wasted time. That's wasted life. Do better things with your time. I'm going to do better things with this time by moving this off to the side and get right away to looking at the trading card. The Batman Reborn trading card has not one of the nicest looking Batmans around. I mean, he has a really long head, for example. Like, if you like this style for Batman, all the power to you. Now, what's funny, though, enough about this Batman is that the Damian Wayne version of Robin is actually part of the DC Direct releases. He's not part of the DC Multiverse, but we will be looking at him in also an upcoming review. Did you pick him up? Yeah, I did. I picked him up as well. On the back, that's a substantial read-up. Don't worry, I've already suffered through it myself. I don't have to worry about spending your time. I know you got quality time you need to commit elsewhere. I've already done it for you. The real name, though, by the way, is very different. Normally, we're used to seeing Bruce Wayne. This time around, we're actually seeing Dick Grayson. Let's move that card off to the side. Yeah, Batman doesn't come included with any batarangs, sadly, though. But what he does have, though, instead, is his bat sort of brass knuckles, his energy knuckles that he has on the ends of his hands. It's funny, though, that he has these hands when you get him out of the packaging. You would have thought, though, that those would have been the extra awarded hands that were part of, like, mingling around in the tray that you would have to install yourself. No, actually, when you get this guy out of the packaging, stock out of the packaging, he already has these babies on the ends of his knuckles. I do like that they've added a little bit of blue, so it breaks up all the black that he already has. One thing that's nice, though, is that the knucks are all actually shaped in bat symbols. Batman likes to at least, well, even it's Dick Grayson or not, he still likes to have all his bat gadgets be in the shape of a bat. Now, if you don't like this look, I probably will just end up leaving on Batman, for myself at least, for my display. But let's just say you're that guy that just doesn't like the look of that. Okay, that's fine. I'm not going to judge you. If you would rather instead, the Batman figure does also come included with a pair of gripping hands. Again, he doesn't have anything really for him to grip and hold on to, but I'm sure with all the other things that you've been collecting from McFarlane team, you easily could probably use a mustache batarangs. What are we even calling those things now? A mustache batarang you can easily use from one of the other Batman releases instead. He does also come include with some mauling hands. Jazz hands, they're not really jazz hands, but they're kind of like more gripping hands. You can have him plotting. I mean, this Batman knows right away that he can't be firing off Alfred. I mean, spend the money where it needs to be spent. I mean, Alfred's doing already a good job of cleaning around the Batcave. I mean, this with Ace the Bat-Hound, where he's just dropping his things anyways. Somebody needs to go in there and clean up all the bat messes. So, of course, when he comes to plotting, he's like, I really should I should keep Alfred as part of the team. Alfred can do a lot of good things, a lot of good cleaning things inside the Batcave. By the way, though, if you didn't want to have these hands, I mean, the hands can so easily be removed. What's interesting, though, about this version of Batman is that his gloves are actually a lot shorter, and they're tiny little bands with tiny little blades. Anyways, though, just to remove these hands, divorce them all together from the pegs. Do it on this side. Do it on this side. I'm not going to be putting them all that far. I'm just going to be right over there. Let's maybe grab one of these hands. And want to make sure, of course, whether it's different Batman or not, the rule of thumb will still apply. Thumbs will always go in. Plug that on one side. I did notice, though, getting the new hands in place, that you really have to force to get them on the pegs. I mean, this isn't my first rodeo. This isn't actually the first time I've also done this with these hands. And yet, every time, I seem to fight the same. Anyways, that's what he looks like now. It kind of looks like he's more of a zombie Batman than anything else. For the head sculpt, though, for Batman, I got to say I don't love it. But at least, though, that this not being a Wayne Batman, I can at least get behind the fact that this is going to be a different looking face for Batman. He's got really squinty eyes. It's like he needs almost like bat glasses. Oh, why is it so bright? Maybe that's why they gave him these hands. Oh, Alfred, why is it so bright in the Batcave? Can you turn off the lights? I can't? What am I paying you for? So like that, the eyes themselves are a little bit more on the smaller side. But again, if you go back and look at the source material, he does have awfully little beady eyes, doesn't he? He also has what looks to be like a mouth, like almost like he's got candy in his mouth. You ever see celebrities sometimes where it looks like they got candies in their mouth? Like, what's that actor from Halloween H2O? I really should have had researched all this before I started hitting record. The guy from Halloween H2O. Always when he talks, it looks like he's got like a Werther's Original in his mouth or a cough drop. This Batman also looks like he's something similar. I do like that they've at least sculpted the areas around his ears. I mean, again, like, while this isn't my preferred look to Batman, at least it isn't Bruce Wayne Batman. I do really like the look of his outfit, though. Large, wide bat emblem there. This is actually just printed on the front of his torso. I also really dig the look of this bat utility belt, where, like, you've got the bat logo there on the front. I'm not really sure exactly what he's storing inside. Maybe he's storing some Werther's or cough drops for that matter. They all seem to be of the same size all the way around. They look like lady fingers if you're making a tiramisu. Nobody really makes tiramisus anymore. I do like the look of the gold, though. The gray and the black work really well, and considering really that this is a body we've gotten a couple of times already, I mean, I guess it's not that far to think really that you could also have popped this head off and replace it with another Batman head if you like the look of his costume more so. You get a load of this as well. On the back of the figure's body, he does have also a fabric cape. Now, it isn't so much a fabric. The thing I can probably best describe it as is, it seems like the kind of material that you would have gotten in the old note tote binders, where it's kind of a slicker sort of material, or maybe even an umbrella. It's got like umbrella material. It's got a wire that also runs down the sides of his cape. It's not running along the bottom, thank goodness for that. But at least with the wires built in like this, you can get a good, pretty cool looking pose. Again, you can have the cape wide out like this. I mean, you can have it, just moved off to the side. You can really do whatever you want with it. I gotta say, I'm really rallying behind fabric capes a lot more than I used to. Back then, I mean, we're talking like, for me, like a year ago back then, I would have really just got behind plastic capes. Because always for me, like I grew up with plastic capes on my action figures. Fabric capes, though, I got to say, does make the figures feel like there's a little bit more of a premium look to them. And the fabric looks really good on this guy as well. Now for the articulation, though, on Dick Grayson Batman, it doesn't matter whether he's adopting the mantle or not. The articulation on this guy is going to be exactly the same as all the other Wayne Batmans before. Head's going to be on a ball joint, so yeah, the head rotates all the way around. Head's going to look down, only that far. Skull's going to look up as well. Oh, that's where all the mess is coming from. It's all the bats inside the cave. Head's going to also rock back and forth as well. Now, the arms do easily rotate all the way around. The little socket joint here isn't so much so a socket. It's basically just going to cover the joint over top of it. So if not for that, you basically would just see a peg plugged into the side, right into the side of Batman's torso. He does have a swivel there in the bicep. The figure does also possess a double hinge. I can't take this guy seriously when he's got hands. Oh, it's so bright in this cave when he's got hands looking like this. Double hinge, though, on the elbow. The hands rotate all the way around. Again, we got ourselves a new designed gauntlet here. Liking the look of that. Smaller, still deadly, still tiny little spikes, though. Upper torso is going to be on a ball joint. The lower abdomen is also the same. Legs split out. They're ratcheted joints, after all, just in case you didn't know that. The legs go forward and they go back. There's a swivel there at the top of the thigh. Double hinge on the knee. No articulation down below. Oh, no down below because, just again, it's a continued sculpt from the rest of his calf, but he most definitely still has an ankle pivot, an ankle rocker, and toe articulation. I was going to say, did I already tell you, but I know that I did. Now, we already have a Damian Wayne Robin that's going to pair very nicely with this version of Batman, but ironically, though enough, he's part of DC Direct and had completely different packaging. While Batman was part of the DC Multiverse and he was part of that cardboard standard boxes, Robin, on the other hand, was actually contained inside of a plastic prison, a clamshell case prison. I don't even know if the character can actually breathe inside. I do like the look of this Batman. I will say it's not one of my favorite head sculpts for him, but to be honest and fair too, I mean, to go back and look at the source material, I don't really like this look of Batman, and the art style was not really my thing either. I do actually like this guy, and maybe one of the nudges that I needed was the fact this guy was marked down as much as he was over on Amazon. Amazon marked the prices down on this guy, marked down, and my interest in this guy, ironically enough, was about the mirror opposite of that. The more they lowered the price, the more interested I was. Finally added this guy to my collection. I gotta say, I like the look of the black and the gray. It works really well. The new utility belt is really snazzy on this guy as well. I do like the look of Batman. I'm not crazy about the head, but it's something I'm more warming up to. I gotta say, I really like that fabric cape. I don't really like Batman here, at least from the head sculpt, but I think to take it from the source material, the accuracy is still there. But for me, it doesn't have to necessarily replace a Batman I have in my collection. It doesn't have to be the definitive one I have on my shelf, because I have enough already Batmans from DC Multiverse in the past. This one is nice, though, at least because it's a Dick Grayson Batman, and how many of those can we really say that we have had? I think Mattel had done at one point a Dick Grayson Batman. Of course, it never really benefited from having a fabric cape. This one definitely does. Now, while he doesn't have a whole ton of accessories, really, I mean, if you exclude the display stand, which he has right now, if you exclude the trading card, which does have, I have to admit, some ugly art of Batman on the front, what you're left really behind, though, is some, like, mauling hands that he has right now on the ends of his forearms. He's got closed punching hands, or gripping hands, even though he doesn't have any other accessories. And, of course, he also does have those shocking bat knuckles. I mean, you could choose to have that displayed with the figure. I think because he also has that as well, and not many Batmen really can say, for that matter, that they have them. Probably just going to end up displaying him with that. Will he be the one that's going to replace my other Batman on my shelf? No. And he doesn't need to either. Again, I am looking forward, though, to getting out of the packaging, whether he's still breathing inside of that contained plastic clamshell. In the upcoming review, though, just to kind of give it away all early, we're also going to be looking at the Damian Wayne DC Direct, not DC Multiverse that time. We're going to be looking at the DC Direct Robin, which I got to say, though, I'm looking at him right now. I'm just looking at off to the side and looking at him. He's a nice looking Robin, and I'm definitely looking forward to having that one on display. These two will be displayed, the Batman and the Robin will be displayed together. They're not going to be displayed as my primary Batman. If you kind of go into that looking and feeling the same way, I think you might end up liking this one on your shelf. Now, again, I don't want to speak too soon and say, like, Amazon's already got a sale going on for this guy, because I hate to be the guy that says, like, Amazon's marked this bad boy down, and you go over to Amazon, and you're like, what's the deal with this guy? He just keeps continuing to send us over there, saying these things are marked down. We go over there, and they're not marked down anymore. I mean, that's the thing that usually is with Amazon. They mark something down for a few days. I mean, at the time, if you're still within that window, get this guy while he's marked down. Get him anyways. He's a nice-looking Batman. What do you guys, though, think of the Batman Reborn? This was the Dick Grayson Batman. Like the look of his head sculpt. Not crazy about it, but you like the rest of his body. Weigh in on what you guys think down below in the comments. If you guys also did enjoy this video, you can do it a solid and throw it a like. If you guys want to stick around for more so? I hope so. Even though we, of course, are wrapping up things right now with Grayson's Batman, Damian Wayne's Robin is right around the corner. As always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.